Rakim and Nas are my legends.
I can take a phrase rarely heard, flip it, now it's a daily word. I can get iller than all the killing and non with no alarm. Rakim will remain calm. Self-esteem niggas, super suburban, break, go on like, oh, still I be. It's just a break. I wasn't supposed to break, I was supposed to wait. Let's motivate. I want to see you keep falling, swallowing, taking and making and biting and borrowing. Brothers try and others got to get the formula, but I'ma let you sweat. You still ain't warm, you'll step away from froze. Stiff as if you pose and dig into my rhymes. Rhyme getting chosen. Follow me, and when you're thinking you was first, let's travel at magnificent speed around the universe. What could they say as the earth gets further and further away? Planet as small as balls of clay, straying to the Milky Way. World far as the eye can see, not even in satellite. Now stop and turn around and look. And as you stare in the darkness, your knowledge is choke. Keep staring. Soon you suddenly see a star. You better follow it, because this is the art. This is a lesson if you're guessing, and if you're borrowing, hurry, step right up and keep following the lead.
My career was based on George Clinton and Parliament-Funkadelic. Yeah, my first solo album, The Chronic, was completely inspired by George Clinton. Yeah, absolutely. These two gentlemen, of course, the bride, the guy, you know, I used to listen to these two men in my car on the way to the studio every day in the 80s and shit like that. When I was rolling to the studio, that was my inspiration when I was going to the studio. And yeah, absolutely.
What up, words? Your boy Charles Brown back again, talking facts. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe, hit notification bell. Keep sending those Cashaps to CLBMG. Join the membership gang. Listen, my legends are a different pedigree, gang. I'm just gonna be honest. I think I'm gonna have to do this without trying to take any swipes or sideways or backhanded compliments at anybody new. But my legends are different, gang. I got a whole different animal when I start to talk about hip-hop and these legends that I grew up on. George Clinton, Rakim, Dr. Dre, Nas. They different, gang. This is not that. We got some really, really legendary people in my elk, and these are the people that built this foundation brick by brick, and they're still doing things at a higher level. When you get older, you're supposed to represent the culture a certain kind of way. You're supposed to make sure that the culture is not forgotten. You're supposed to make sure that people that paved the way get recognized, and you're supposed to show the people who don't know the way. And I think a lot of us got out of our way as to where we were going because we followed the trends of how hip-hop, the music was taking us. But some of my legends didn't forget. And they understood. Nas always had this air, this aura, that he was going to be special, as well as Rakim. Those two legends have never, ever faltered in any way in this hip-hop thing. They stay out the news. They stay out the bad press. These guys just put their head down and do their job. I remember for a while, we were like, where the hell is Rakim? Because the guy was silent. And Nas. Like, we were like, where are these guys? They came back outside, and they really put the belt to ass when it comes to just doing their job and putting in the work to make sure people remember what this culture is about. So what I'm talking about is Rakim and Nas were at a gala. It's the Paid in Full Foundation. They did their gala at the 3rd annual Hip Hop Grandmaster Awards, and a lot of the legends were there looking spiffy, looking shiny, right? Looking buff. You know what I'm saying? And we lost quite a few, right? Every time you turn around, every year we're losing, I want to say, between 5 and 10 legends. Some of them you know very well. Some of them you didn't know, had to be reminded of, right? But all of them paved the way to what you got right here, right? Combat Jack is past and gone, right? Rest in peace to him. But without Combat Jack, you have no Joe Budden podcast. And these are the things that we need to understand when someone has pretty much cultivated and led the way down a path that wasn't there. They made a new lane for you. We need to respect them. Nas was doing this at a high level in the late 80s, early 90s, right? He didn't come out till like 94, but you got to learn your craft. You don't just come out the next day, gang. So Nas had to learn his craft, and he respects his elders. And what this gala is about is showing love to the elders. They didn't do it somewhere trashy. He did it at the Bellagio Tower in Las Vegas. So whoever knew hip hop could take it this far, right? And if a lot of our legends were still alive, it'd be even bigger, right? And I know that they're saying that the sales are down in hip hop. Not real hip hop, gang. Real hip hop is making the money it's supposed to make. They're eating, they're touring, and we don't care about these Billboard charts because that's never what it was about. Now we do speak on it. Let's just be honest. It's a part of hip hop. Out of 10 things, is one, right? If you have 10 stats that matter, Billboard is one, record sales is one. Right, we'll give you that, but it don't mean everything. It don't make you who you are, because if it did, we would have to have a Mount Rushmore of MC Hammer, Vanilla Ice, Tone Loc, and probably a Young MC. That would be the Mount Rushmore of hip hop. That's not the Mount Rushmore of hip hop, gang. So it's not about your record sales. It's not about how many units you can move and how many bodies you can put in the seat. Yeah, you may be able to do an MC Hammer tour and pack out the seats, but at the end of the day, your real purpose in this hip-hop thing was to be one of the best lyricists and make some of the best songs to push the culture forward. So I want to talk about this award because I'm honored to even to still be here to see this, to see my legends in tuxedos and honoring each other and having beautiful moments. So let's talk about this. Rakim raps with George Clinton. Dr. Dre pops up with Nas, and Dr. Dre pops up and Nas performs during Paid in Full Foundation Gala by Cal Eustace. This is on I believe this is on the allhiphop.com website. The organization held its third Hip Hop Grandmaster Awards on Saturday night at the Bellagio Towers Ballroom in Las Vegas. And salute to All Hip Hop for always keeping things hip hop. They have a mission, and they still continue when other sites and other industry media outlets won't cover these things. All Hip Hop is 100% going to cover it and keep it going. All right, let me salute to allhiphop.com. The Paid in Full Foundation held its third Hip Hop Grandmaster Awards on Saturday night at the Bellagio Tower. Anyone graced with an invite was likely overwhelmed by the sheer number of legends in the building, from Nas, Dr. Dre, Ludacris, and George Clinton to Scarface, Rakim, Fab Five Freddy, and Mobb Deep's Havoc. Salute to RIP to Prodigy, who is no longer with us. One of my last shows, I think I was one of the last shows Prodigy did while he was alive. I was promoting venues, and that was one of the greatest nights that I ever had the honor of putting on. Let me continue. Needless to say, there were some unforgettable moments that will live forever, especially on social media. One of the highlights of the evening was a panel hosted by Paid in Full Foundation Board of Directors, they didn't put an S on it, Quincy Jones III, that featured Babyface, Scarface, and the first recipient of the Quincy Jones Award, George Clinton. George Clinton was rolling through there with a scooter, like one of those the mobile scooters that you got to get around on. Salute to George. I don't know if he was joking or dead ass serious. Either way, salute to George Clinton, one of the greatest musicians in the history of music. And many of those songs that you revere from those hip hop classics, George Clinton probably has something to do with it. Let me continue. Jones asked Clinton to rap the verses to Eric B. and Rakim's Follow the Leader, to which Clinton replied, "Oh man, you're not going to make me do it in front of him." Despite the brief protest, Clinton proceeded to spit every single word to the classic track, to the audience's amazement. It wasn't long before Rakim emerged from backstage and joined Clinton for the final verse. This is the thing. I couldn't spit that shit if I had to. You could be like, Charles, I'm going to give you 5 million. You could keep going 10 million, 20 million, 30 million. There's no way I could have got that line for line. George Clinton got that rhyme, which is one of Rakim's illest rhymes. Let's just be honest. This guy is still light years away from anybody touching the mic. These people that's on this are in my top 10, no matter what changes. Right? Sometimes people move in, move out of my top 10. I like to say my top 12 because I need them 2 slots. My top 12, Nas always in there, Rakim always in there. Within the top 5 or 6. I'm just going to be honest with you. So these 2 guys are legends. So let me continue. Moments later, Dr. Dre, who built his 1992 masterpiece, The Chronic, on numerous Parliament-Funkadelic samples, surprised the crowd and praised Clinton for not only his contribution to music, but to hip-hop specifically. When we got a hold of George Clinton, gang, it got to the point it was oversaturated. All we did was sample George Clinton, Parliament, Bootsy Collins, a whole lot of old stuff like Funk Incorporated. It was a time where if you wasn't sampling funk and soul, you really wasn't a good producer. Let's just be honest. A couple movie samples, and then Wu-Tang came along, started sampling kung fu flicks. But listen, it was always is always the same. Soulful samples, Marvin Gaye, this, that, and the third, Sam Cooke. So this is a beautiful thing to acknowledge George Clinton as one of the foundation. He laid the groundwork for what he laid the groundwork for what would be the foundation of hip hop, his sound. Let me continue. Quote, George Clinton is one of my main motivations and what I grew up to, Dr. Dre said. 40 years this year. I started in 1985. This summer marks 40 years that I've been doing this thing. In the beginning of my career and my childhood, and everything was based on this man right here. Everything that I've done, studied, all the drums, all the instruments that this man did inspired me to do what I'm doing now, and I'm just so appreciative. It's all love. I remember at one point, people were biting Dr. Dre, which meant you were biting George Clinton. So everything Dr. Dre was doing, the funky worm and all this stuff, sounded like he was sampling and he was replaying a lot of that Parliament stuff to just give it that extra oomph. But it was all based on George Clinton Parliament. So that meant a lot of other producers started to sound like that. Eric Sermon, a lot of people. So George Clinton really, he made a lot of these producers into what they are. The groundwork. He's the groundwork, the foundation of how a lot of guys. So you had to rap to it a certain kind of way. So he made it where the rappers had to flow to it a certain kind of way. This guy is very influential. It's very important to this culture in case you did not know. Let me continue. Quote, these guys, Rakim and George, are responsible for changing music the way it was and the way it is right now. You know how crazy it is for somebody to go into the studio and change the way we listen to music? These two gentlemen did. And at one point, Rakim was signed to Dr. Dre. He tried to work with Dr. Dre. Now, the thing about Dre is very finicky and picky. He takes mad long to put stuff out. Sometimes he won't put it out at all. He'll make you do 30 tracks, won't release none of them. Dre is really finicky, and I think Dre tried to change Rakim. Dre has a certain ear of what he knows is successful and what he knows is going to work. Rakim don't fit that lane. So they were oil and water. They were never going to work. But because Rakim is too strong of an MC, he knows what he wants to say. He's not going to let you manipulate this, that, and the third. Rakim probably went over there thinking, he's just going to throw me some beats. I'm going to throw some raps. George, Dr. Dre don't work like that. Dr. Dre going to throw you the hook. He going to tell you every single word you saying wrong, make you say it again. He going to try to build he's trying to build a Death Row type of style. Rakim is not that. They like whatever Aftermath and Death Row type of thing Dr. Dre is on, Rakim didn't match it. A lot of really good MCs came out of that Dr. Dre camp with nothing, right? Last Emperor went over there, signed to Dr. Dre, came back with nothing. So it's not that simple just to get. I think Razzcast, a lot of MCs signed with Dr. Dre Dr. Dre got good intentions, but everybody don't match with Dre. Let me just keep this pushing. That was only a sliver of the magic happening inside the Tower Ballroom. Everyone in attendance had gathered to honor this year's Hip Hop Grandmaster recipients. Grand Poobah of Brand Nubian. Salute the Grand Poobah. I always say Grand Poobah had great potential. He was one of Grand Poobah, let's be honest, he had a hot 3 years. Grand Poobah was one of the best lyricists at the time, but hip hop progressed beyond Grand Poobah's style. But Grand Poobah was very radio. He was the pinnacle of lyrical MC. Grand Poobah was what everybody's trying to be. Him, Big L. Grand Poobah was that guy. And it says also in Cool G Rap, as well as fellow honorees Jalil of Houdini and the Fat Boys Cool Rock Ski. So right there, that's a hell of a lineup. Grand Poobah, Cool G Rap, Jalil of Houdini, and Houdini, listen, they are geniuses. I don't know, if there's anybody that does not get their flowers, Houdini was the pinnacle of it. They was one of the first platinum rap albums in history. I think they are the first, if I'm not mistaken. Houdini is the first million-selling rap album. I know people try to say this, that, and the third, but Google it. I'm almost certain Houdini got the first platinum rap album in hip-hop. Their songs are timeless. The beats are strong. Like they make soundscapes. And these guys were projecting in a way other rappers weren't projecting. These guys were bigger than the time. Like their music is timeless, and they would talk. They were grown man rap. I was a kid, listen to the grown man rap. Friends is a word we use every day. Like, yo, I'm a little kid. Like, damn, are these guys really my friends? Nigga, you in like second grade? Like, are you my friends? Like, these guys were so big. They just were magnificent. Ecstasy, Houdini. They do not get the respect that they deserve in this culture. I bought every Houdini record. I'm just going to be honest. Now, the culture did pass them by. Let's just be honest. Them and like K9 Posse and certain people at the time, they got passed by because the culture changed. But Houdini Houdini was more lined in with R&B at the time, and they made big records that were for the time, and a lot of rappers sampled. Listen, If I Ruled the World, that's a sample of Houdini. A lot of your favorite rappers sampled Houdini, right? I mean, that's Curtis Blow. I'm sorry, that's Curtis Blow. But Nas did sample Houdini. A lot of people sampled Houdini, and they don't get the respect that they deserve because people started focusing more on lyrical, miracle things, and they just got kind of passed by. Same as Run DMC and this, down the third. But end of the day, Fat Boys, I always joke that the Fat Boys did not age well, but I do love Cool Rock Ski. Cool Rock Ski was a young rapper who made me feel like I could rap. Because you gotta remember when Fat Boys came into the business, they were the young upstarts. They were not like the older cats. They were like, we're young, we're the Fat Boys, like Fat Boys, right? Didn't age well, right? But I love Fat Boys at the time, but they had a hot 3 years, then they started doing movies and they fell off because they got pushed in a corporate way, and we didn't like corporatized shit. It's different now. We love corporatized shit, right? We've come a long way from Fat Boys doing the Disorderlies movie, right? Let me continue. Former Yo MTV Raps host Fab Five Freddy interviewed several people from the red carpet, including Luda, Van Jones, Cool Rock Ski, George Clinton, and Scarface. The evening's host, Roxanne Shante, spit freestyles. DJ Cool V, salute to Cool V, cheered from his table, and Cool G Rap mingled with friends. Havoc rapped his verses from Mobb Deep Shook One, and Nas performed Made You Look, among others. Post-hip-hop Grandmaster Award honoree Kool Moe Dee, salute to Kool Moe Dee, man. I was never, even back in the day, I was never a big Kool Moe Dee guy. I'm just going to be honest. I was an LL Cool J guy. I ain't going to like no Kool Moe Dee if I'm LL Cool J. But he still do his thing, man. Salute. Wild, Wild West. I used to go downtown, yeah. Salute to Kool Moe Dee. Was also joined by Fearless 4MC Mike C and crew for another electronic performance. The event effortlessly illustrated both the strength and resilience of hip-hop community while simultaneously raising money for a good cause. Many of the most influential and trailblazing hip-hop artists never received recognition proportional to their contributions to the culture. The Paid in Full Foundation's primary purpose, as stated on its website, quote, aims to rectify that through its grant-making program by both honoring the people who built hip-hop and enabling them to pursue their creative and intellectual pursuits for the benefit of society. That is a noble cause, and I salute these guys. I salute the Paid in Full Foundation. We got to do more to tell this story, because a lot of these young kids, they getting caught up in this new wave of I'm just gonna be honest, this drill shit, a lot of trash, a lot of shit with no substance, no backbone. These guys are talking about drilling and killing the entire time. They don't do music that got any type of heart to it, unless they're bitching and whining about something that didn't go their way. Like, it's more to life than that. But we need to look backwards before we go forward and try to understand how we got here. All net proceeds raised from the Hip Hop Grandmasters Awards directly support the Paid in Full Foundation's mission to empower hip-hop pioneers and other creatives. Read more about it and enjoy a photo of George Clinton arriving in a motorized wheelchair below. So listen, man, I don't want to say this as look like I'm dismissive of the young rappers' contributions, because I'm not dismissive, but a lot of these young rappers don't understand. It's partially our fault, because a lot of us still out here, I'm not gonna say no names, there's a lot of older rappers who still want to compete with the younger rappers and make the music that sound like the younger rappers. So you can't compete with them and teach them at the same time. They're gonna be like, Pops, you still in here in the VIP with me. You still popping bottles with me. You still trying to wear gold chains with me. So I really can't respect your opinion, because you're not really teaching me nothing that's going to get me further than where I already am, because you're right here trying to compete with me. So a lot of the older guys are acting like YNs, so there's really not nothing that they can say to these young kids. But what we need to start doing is showing them, yo, listen, we used to tell magnificent stories. We were vulnerable. We used to teach. There was a lot of teaching in this hip-hop thing, in case y'all forgot, right? At one point, it was you. If you wasn't teaching, you weren't looked at seriously. So I'm going to leave it at that, man. Listen, respect the Nas, respect the Rakim, Scarface, Kool Moe Dee, everybody that's in the building. Salute to the Paid in Full organization. Salute to allhiphop.com, all right? I'm out of here, man. I'm going to catch you on that flip side. Listen, head on over to black-yeti.com. Let them know who sent you. They ship all over the U.S. Every Wednesday night, we go live on The What Show. Me, TJ, and Flair, as we discuss hip-hop and things of that nature. All right, I'm going to catch y'all on that flip side. I'm out. Peace.
Look, mission impossible to drop a few lines without dropping old times when Southern Hill was still a gold mine. When pistol grips was my shit and I sold mine. When Alias was not a show and they told mine. Elevate your mind with high quality THC infused products. BlackYeti.com. Black-Yeti.com.
CLB.
Get my coat, get my sheepskin, grab my wallet, get my pocket knife, and get that hat right there. We out. Grab my pocket knife too. Let's go. When I first came to the city, niggas didn't believe me. I just wanted to join a team and throw assist pass easily. 6 man off the bench, alley-oop pass freely. Suit up for one game and hope a scout might see me. But nah, niggas is greedy, wasn't rocking with him. Unplugged the scoreboard, put a lock on the gym. Told me to power forward, point guard at the rim. And left me with no center and a ball full of phlegm. Not knowing that I'm a dog, a Rottweiler within. With the heart of a pit bull that don't bark for pretend. My bites cut deep, break the bone and the skin. With the level of hustlenomics you do not comprehend. So first I took a block down on the west side end. And then secured a spot with some goons and some kin. And then sent out some flyers, let the games begin. And in 6 months time, the city like that's him. Oh yeah, he the one that moved the hustle to the burbs. And yeah, he the one that knocked the hustlers off the curb. And yeah, he the one that set up shop without a word. And he the one that got it cracking. And all he did was rapping by the Hooters. I kept killers from being shooters. Put a mic in a thug's hand, now he loyal like past fans. Take a man off the streets past the needles and crack cans. Promise mama to keep him safe, then put some food in his face and he'll kill for you. But I don't need him for that. Click like, click share, tell them bitches we back. Share the whole location, tell them niggas where we at. Cause we out here and we ain't the cheese, we the trap.